Trump, what did you do to prepare for today's examination?
You can start. You can read your sentence.
Very little.
Read your statement.
If you'd like, I could read the statement, but very little.
Well,
Excuse me.
Read the statement.
can we go?
Yes, he would like.
I will now use my moment to go off the record.
Thank you. Sorry. Just read the statement.
You're going off the record at 9:44 a.m. We're back on the record at 9:45 a.m.
Mr. Trump, I understand you have a statement that you wanted to read into the record.
Yes.
Would you please feel free to start at any time?
Thank you very much. This is the greatest witch hunt in the history of our country. There has never been another president, or perhaps even another politician, who has been persecuted, harassed, and in every other way unfairly treated like President Donald J. Trump. What Letitia James has tried to do the last number of years is a disgrace to the legal system, an affront to the New York State taxpayers, and a violation of the solemn rights and protections afforded by the United States Constitution. She developed a political platform and made a career out of maliciously attacking me and my business before she even understood or was elected or reviewed one of the millions of pages of documents we willingly produced. We willingly produced these documents. James proclaimed that she, quote, looks forward to going into the office of Attorney General every day suing me and then going home. This is during her campaign. She announced that she was obsessed with, quote, taking me on, and that her eyes were set on Trump Tower, quote, Trump Tower. She even assured her supporters as an election promise very strongly that, quote, we're going to definitely sue him. Before she even knew anything about me, we're going to be a real pain in his ass. He's going to know my name personally. And she claimed I was on an illegitimate, and that it was an illegitimate president. Quote, illegitimate president. In her AG speech, she promised to, quote, shine a bright light into every dark corner of Trump's real estate holdings. Shortly thereafter, she vowed to, quote, use every area of the law to investigate President Trump and his business transactions, and that of his family as well. She knows nothing about us. This is when she knew absolutely nothing about us. It was very unfair. This whole thing is very unfair.
Okay, so when you look at what has happened with Donald Trump in terms of the lawsuits that are being thrown at him ever since he left the White House, what you see is the left using every lever and every arm of their power. In this case, we're talking about the New York Attorney General Tish James in the lawsuit against the Trump Organization, that she's being used by very powerful people to throw on him in order to destroy him, in order to bury him in lawsuits and in legal mumbo jumbo. And so what you see is basically the left using every lever of its power to destroy Donald Trump. And it is very unfortunate that this is where we are as a society, but this is where we are. The left has weaponized things that people actually used to trust. We used to trust the law. We used to trust these three-letter agencies like the CIA, like the FBI, like the Department of Justice. We used to trust these things, but now these things have been hopelessly politicized because the left is now using these as arms to go after their political enemies. I do not know where we go from here as a country because this is not good. And there's a lot of conservatives that said, okay, now what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So if you are going to do this to us now, when we are back in power, we're going to do the same thing to you. Where does that leave the American people? That leaves the American people without trust in its agencies, without trust in its legal system, and supposed to accept the idea that a person that is, by every objective measure, a frontrunner for the Republican presidential nomination in the United States, being attacked by his political enemies.